Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a bit of a plan with me this week. I have one student I'll be planning for this week. She is in pre-K. We are doing the Blossom and Root curriculum. We are in the early years 1. So that is the bulk of the curriculum I'll be using this week. I'll let you know as I go along what I'm adding in. I'll let you know what tools I'm also using as well. So I just went through my online curriculum and I printed out this week's itinerary for the week of everything we need to cover. And so I have that right here. I will be using for my general planning this worksheet. This is a free worksheet that's available on my blog in a blog post, and the blog post is focused on using this type of format for planning, and I call it the weekly bones because it's incredibly simple. But I found over the last year and a half of doing lesson plans weekly that this setup works the best for us. So before I get into all the stuff we want to do this week, I'm going to kind of just line out a few things. For rhythm, I always put a basically like a hierarchy of what our priorities are for the week. So for this week, I really want to make sure we're getting outside. So I'm going to put nature at the top. Below that is going to be art. Below that is literature. And I'm going to put somewhere at the bottom math. We've been working on doing some of these over here, these flashcards, and then we're trying to assign through some manipulatives, kind of learning the value of each symbol. For rhythm, I'm going to make a note that when I look through this week, we are going to continue to have our in-breath be in the morning and our out-breath be in the afternoon. If I keep these little priorities in mind at the top, then when things start to just fall apart on certain days, whether we have a bunch of appointments to go to, or we have other things going on, or maybe we're just having an off day and everyone's not feeling well, I keep this in mind. I usually will give a bit of an overview in the notes, and then after I've kind of worked this all through with my pencil, when I'm done planning, I will transfer it to a daily format in here. And then the plan ahead book it's just a calendar I picked up from, I think it was like TJ Maxx for like $8. And I like the format in here for me to keep everything nice and clean. And then this is what I go to every morning. It tells me what we're doing, when we're doing it. And then if we do end up using a flex day one of the days, then I know what was supposed to be that day we did the flex day. And so I can kind of just fold those things into the remainder days of the week. It's nice and easy. I'll show you how I do that. So let's start off and take a look. I know right off the bat, I know that we're going to have art as one of our topics. I know we're going to have music as one of our topics. I also know that we're going to be doing literature. And usually I like to keep the last one not really as math, but just as STEM, because we've been doing more like STEM projects or science projects. And so I like to keep that separate instead of just putting math, because we do mostly mental math, maybe a few manipulatives, but that's about it for math right now. So when I'm going through our curriculum, we normally start off the day with our morning basket, and I've been utilizing, I purchased these last year. They're actually now available for free for online download. So I suggest, if you don't have this in your resource kit, to go ahead and download that. I'll put a link in the description box. But what I'll do is pull from the weekly finger game. And the weekly finger game usually is pretty simple, like right here. It's like a Twinkle Twinkle Little Star this week because we're focusing on apples and gratitude. And then also I'll pull from the weekly story. And every morning we'll go through the finger game and we'll go through the story. And so I'm going to make a note up here that we're doing apples and gratitude. And oftentimes I will also pull from the current week. It gives a bit of a nature study of what you should be focusing on for like a weekly hike. Now my Blossom and Root also shows a nature study, but nature study for in Blossom Root I found is more of like a STEM activity. It's less of getting outside and doing something just kind of open and like free or, you know, open-ended. So I'll pull from the weekly hike in here. And for that, I'm going to assign that for whatever we're doing for nature this week. So I'm going to make a note that usually Thursdays are a nature day. And I'm going to put down we're doing leaves. And this is, this week it says to collect red things while you're on your hike. So I'll probably make a note, leaf and red, just so I know this is in the Whole Family Rhythms. And I'll also make a note where I found it, because later I'll wonder where I found that. And then this nature study of the sunlight and shadow observation, I'll do that the same day as well, just because we'll be out anyways. And so it's a great time to just take all of our activities. But we also have our nature journal going. And so in here, I'm going to make a note right now so I don't forget that this is week 2. And this is red in nature. So I have that already mapped out. So when we go out to do our nature walk and things, then we can do our coloring. Usually we do the coloring the sheet before, and then we'll put like our collage on the side. So I have that taken care of for this week. From there, I know that we have our music going on. We've been doing Mozart in Blossom and Root. I'll probably spend this evening and find another piece that we'll be working on. And then also they don't give a whole lot of direction as to what to do with music, other than have the music be going on while they're doing other things. So I'm gonna make a note for me to find piece. And I really don't like just leaving on the Mozart station like on Pandora. I rather pick one piece that we listen to every day. My kids seem to respond a little better to that kind of format, so that's what we've been doing. So then we go into art. They gave me our piece for this week. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna take a look for picture study. And basically we're going to focus on appreciation. Also what we're gonna do is color identification. We're going to work on a collage, because that's what they have as a activity. But also this last week we took the time to do our own impression of it, and that was a huge hit. She absolutely loved trying to basically copy the feeling of it. Last week we did The Yellow House by Van Gogh, and so she had a great time like incorporating the colors of the picture into her own impression and working in some of the shapes and the people who are walking and things like that. It was a pretty simple impression, but she had a great time, and it really seemed to leave a lasting mark on her as to what we did that week. So I'd like to incorporate that as well, so I made a note. And then for our literature books I found in this curriculum, they're all mostly, like 90% of them are older books. And so I ended up going on eBay and purchasing all the books for this curriculum this year. And I purchased them from an eBay seller that sells old library books. So some of these are a little more worn than others, and they may have a few marks in it, but I got them deeply discounted. And what I also like about that is that when I spend, like $1.90 on a book, I'm fine with her taking it in the car or taking it to her bedroom, or, if we're going to run errands, she'll take it with us that week. And I want her to feel like literature is something that's tangible, that can live with her, not something that we protect so highly that it's just this thing on a shelf, if that makes sense. So I have our book for this week, and we will read that every day. So last week we had some activities that went along with the book. This week it looks like we do 2. I'm going to see, though, if I can find, I think we have a few bunnies. It looks like you want to have like a mommy bunny and a baby bunny. My child isn't really into play in the fact of like, she's a bunny, I'm a bunny. She likes more figures to play with. So I'm going to see if I can find some figures. We're going to want to do engagement prompts under literature. And I have been enjoying the engagement prompts. Sometimes they seem incredibly simple when I'm looking through there. And my child and I have a pretty easy time talking. But some of these I can see that as she gets older, it'd be nice to have these prompts. For art also, I'm going to put the connectivity project under art. So we have those things going on. And then let me show you, we talked a little bit about these flashcards. So I created these flashcards by watercoloring on some, I think it was 140-pound paper. And then after it dried, I took a Sharpie and I put out the number. And then I put a corresponding amount of dots on the back. And this has been really helpful. I also laminated them. If you're interested in a tutorial on how to create these, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to put out a tutorial. They were incredibly simple. And then for manipulatives, we're using these. I believe I got from actually the dollar spot at Target. And they're just colored popsicle sticks. So she likes these because she will lay them on the cards for their value. And then also, I think these were either from Michael's or the dollar spot at Target. And they're just wooden shapes. And she loves stars. So if I'm going to buy shapes, I usually get stars. And she took a few of these. We tried painting them colors or putting glitter on them. And they're just too thin of that balsa wood. It doesn't sustain any color or anything. So that's what's going on. I'm also going to take a look at our picture before we close up. And I'm noticing we have like blues and yellows. So I'm going to put those as our colors for the week. Let me go ahead and update my plan ahead book. And then I will meet back with you in just a second and show you how that looks. Okay, so I just want to take a second to show you how my book is looking after I use the weekly bones. So you'll see that I start off with whole family rhythms basically every day, the school day blessing every day. Just that set up so I know where we're starting. We do the read aloud every single day. The picture study, and so the first day of the week is mostly just setting up everything, and then I also added in the STEM activity from Blossom and Root. And I put the cards with manipulatives in there. It doesn't mean we're going to do it every day. And then from there on, I kind of build from it. So picture study we did with the collage activity, picture study with the impression activity, read aloud with the figures activity. And then Thursdays in general, I work on Thursday afternoons. So I usually like to leave that open for a park and nature day and do all of those activities on one day, because then I can kind of fit in an outdoor activity in the morning before I work in the afternoon. But I realized I think we're going to the fair this Thursday. So we may forego the finger play story, the school day blessing, and the read aloud in the morning, and we may just try to get some the nature activities done while we're at the fairgrounds. And I think that might be pretty simple to incorporate. And then down the bottoms, or down the bottom of the sheet, I have a flex day. And flex day I can throw in any day of the week. Typically what happens is someone wakes up sick, or the kids are up all night, or something where we're all not at our best, and I can tell school is just going to be a battle. I put just board games, or because he's home, we may have other things on our agenda we normally wouldn't. So that is how my week is looking. Typically, I build this out a little bit more. For some reason, this week I just didn't. I think this week was a little simpler than normal. But this, again, is the Weekly Bones printable I have. And so now that I've finished all of this up, I'm going to go ahead and update my blackboard. Okay, so this is how my blackboard is looking this week. My black chalk hasn't been erasing very well. So I have our apple picture in the middle. This is our school day blessing. And then down here, I forgot to put the week, the day and the year. But I have our composer, art study, literature, poetry, mental math all listed. And then over here, I have everything that's going on this month. I have, it's the harvest moon, when the full moon is, and then also when the autumn equinoxes and the Mabon festival. That's how our week is looking. I hope you had fun planning with me, and I'll see you soon on the channel. Be sure, if you haven't, to subscribe and like this video. And then also come visit me over on the zacgirls.com for blog posts and what's going on. And then also you can find me on Instagram at the Zac Girls blog, and come join my family collective on Facebook, and that is called Meaningful Days. All the links will be down below, and I will hope to speak with you soon.